Welcome back, welcome back. Hope you guys doing alright. I know I am. So I'm sitting here listening to one of these Joker things. And made me think of my adversary in the building. And made me think about the Avatar cartoon. How I'm so happy I fucking watched that shit like I did. I'm glad I learned all the little lessons. Well, not all of them. There's so many more. Uncle Iroh is a legend. Anyway, so feels good to beat motherfuckers with cartoon tactics that are like, not cartoon tactics because it's real life. It's called strategy. I think I explained it in my recent last video. And I guess my father wants me to do it for this channel or something. I don't know. Anyway, the last Airbender was a peaceful kid. He was a kid, so that's kind of where he gets his heart from. But then, unbeknownst to most people, see, he got trapped in ice for like 100 years. So he's actually a 100-year-old man in a kid's body. But, if you're trapped in ice, you don't get to experience life, so you don't mature. You get it? So you're a 100-year-old fucking kid. Thank God he studied. Thank God the Lord made him wise enough as a kid. So, good guy, bad guy, hero story, classic. Except what makes this kid's story special is because he wanted to be like Jesus, pacifist. He didn't want to kill people. He understood there's another way, and everyone else just didn't try because it's hard. And if you try the peaceful way, you're going bye-bye. See, turning that cheek to the wrong ones means you don't get to turn your cheek ever again because they're going to put your ass on the floor. Now, Aang accomplished this due to the turtle spirit, the great turtle spirit of Earth. The first airbender, the first bender. And this great spirit thing taught him how to, he taught him a bending technique because the bending techniques are really just human beings that can master the four elements. But since you're just a human, the Lord only allows you to master one element, And that's the way in that cartoon people were divided up. You weren't divided up by your race. You were divided up by your power. Your power meant those are your people, And all of them mastered the four elements and everything, There's other techniques in the movie too, where they're bending more than just fire, water, air, and earth. They're bending blood, iron, glass, all this fucking crazy shit because all those things are made from earth. So anything made from earth can be bended by an earthbender, But it takes preparation and special techniques that old ass niggas don't like to teach because they can't get it. So if they can't do it, we can't let these little niggas be getting powers we can't have.
They like saying, wait a minute. So Dad, yo, maybe that is what happened, because I told me this. They getting some type of clarity about something, that this person was paying them off to do reckless stuff to them. Okay? To block you. So now somebody feels bad, a friend who they used to spiritually attack you now feeling horrible because the pieces are coming together about what this person was lying to you, to them about you. And now this person's realizing that they was being used as a pawn to block you. Look at this, y'all. Everybody is fighting now because they're finding out the truth. People are starting to feel bad. Because now it's like they didn't know. They didn't know, like, everything. They could have just thought you was crazy. You was lying because this is my family. We at the workplace. This person could be a boss at the job, and the boss not gonna lie. Or they got like a position at their work. They can't lie. Like they can't do that. That's against the rules. That's not fair. It's not right. They wouldn't. So it gotta be you, collective. You gotta be the problem, right? So if this person says don't give you, I guess, your last check because they gave it to you already, and you out here lying, then I'm not gonna give it to you. Right, I ain't gonna give it to you, and then I'm gonna look at you like you crazy, and I might like roll my eyes because I know you lying on my boys. Come to find out, they get some documents and they get the paperwork, and it says like this is the proof that you never got paid, and now they feel bad for up here looking at you like you trying to get the boss, trying to hurt the boss or steal from the boss. Meanwhile, the boss stole from you. You get what I'm trying to say? Like it's something like that. People are now fighting over the truth coming out. Child, this truth about some legal matters. This could be, it could have went to court. And these people being lied to. And now somebody is in so much for regret for what the freak they played, the part they played, bro.
I'll be watching that after I finish this video. Isn't it strange to literally pause the video, you go to the bathroom, come back, you're watching a couple of fucking random, like, little shorts, and then that popped up, and that's literally GMB TV. And I'm talking about the situation and how I stopped him by using Avatar lesson. The lesson is to take someone's power from them. You don't have to kill somebody if they don't have power anymore. You know? And seeing people use lies, I use the truth. And I strip you of your power. And then you look like a fucking idiot. And then you use more lies. He's crazy. But you keep getting bested. Right? Right? Boss? Remember? How's your kneecaps? You know what's real funny? Right before you got retired, I told one of the main people in that office. I said, a lot of people been hating on me, and I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna know soon because people are gonna get sick and people are gonna get hurt because that's how the Lord works. And this person said, my mother told me that once. And I said, okay, so when motherfuckers start getting hurt and sick out of nowhere, you'll understand why. And then 2 weeks later, 3 days later, a week later, you were retired. You know? Like you told the cops in front of my face, but they wasn't there. Remember the day I had to call harassment on Jason? Remember? You said, I told the cops already. You're harassing my workers. What, like Cruz? Maybe that's why he went naughty and crashed his car 3 times. How many times you gotta crash your car before you get fired? And then the next job, you're driving a car. Nah, that's not suspicious. Hi, Anthony. You don't need to pull over and tell me I'm doing a good job. I know I'm doing a good job. You know, my father told me I was. You don't mean anything. Your words mean nothing. That's why I salute you and just smile. Like, hi. Because I know it burns you alive. I know it eats you up. You know? All y'all lies. All y'all tricks. All the dusty niggas y'all sent. Where to get them? Cursed, homeless, begging, sick, homeless. All the niggas got locked up, you know? How come every single person y'all sent ended up hurt or something? How? Oh yeah, because my father said, vengeance is mine. You learn how to take their powers by not being what they claim you are, because that will neutralize them. And as everybody watches you be a good man, I'll come for them. And I'll make them what they said you were. Is everybody having fun? Let's go see. Oh, no more fun. Everybody's very, very quiet for some reason. How come a year ago, every time in my video I walk out in that hallway, nothing but fucking blasting, fucking concert status. Like there's a concert, a fucking musical going on. Crack smell in the hallways all day fucking long. Oh, it's not anymore. Why? Because I took your power from you. And now you're seen for the rats that you are. And when rats get exposed, they run into the corner and they hide. They go back into the hole. You know? To the shadows. Didn't I tell you I was going to put you niggas back in the shadows? It's because it's where you belong. You don't have to. You could come to the light, but you know, I get it. Your parlor tricks and your fucking lies, you believe them now. You've lied about being good for so long. You actually believe it. But you know the truth. That's why you hide like rats. You scurry away. You know? Not like me. I didn't scurry away. No. I did what the Lord said. Embrace yourself like a man, Job. Brace yourself. It's going to be a roller coaster. You know? Learn to want for nothing, but have the will to take everything. You know? By working. Because you know you can't steal. It's against the rules. So how do you take what's yours? You know? Like peace and quiet. How do you take that? Oh yeah, with the law. You know? Like my father said, only the law can save you. The law is what makes shit get done. Get it? So if you don't know the law of what time niggas is supposed to turn that shit off, well then they can abuse you because you don't know. But when you do know, you don't have a lack of knowledge. And what did my father say? We die, we lose because of a lack of knowledge. So, I don't know what the Bible taught you, but it taught me to pay attention to these laws and rules that are, you know, down here. Because it's important. You know, it just so happens to be based off the laws of the Bible. So one hand wash the other, both wash the face. You know, I see a lot of believers in all this. You know, talk all of this Jesus stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think Jesus came to teach the law so people wouldn't be stupid assholes. So that stupid asshole people can't use mental manipulation and get your ass in trouble. You know? Like the old days. Just blame a nigga. You know? It's amazing how many times people will use this tactic. The most famous blame somebody else story ever is the Boston Tea Party. They dressed up like somebody else and then burnt the boats and threw the tea overboard or whatever the story goes, right? Why did they dress up like Indians? Why didn't they just represent as themselves and say, we don't want these taxes and we want you to know that we did it so you know that we don't want these motherfucking taxes and we'll keep doing this shit until you fucking stop. Why? Because they knew, just like everyone knows now, like the Paul Mooney skit, if you blame niggas, anybody will believe it because niggas are crazy. You know? It's funny how that same tactic is exactly what got used on me. He's crazy, he's a nigga, and he's doing things, he's violent. He's so violent. You know? That's why I laugh at you, Frankie. That's why I laugh at all of you. You can't get shit done without us. Even when we're at the bottom. You need to cosplay as us. Blame us for fucking terroristic events. Do you realize that's a terroristic attack on the government? And the best idea you had was to blame a nigga for it. You know? Because Christopher Columbus said, I see niggas, but I'm going to call them Indians. You get it? So, the greatest trick of any nation of anywhere in the world is, I'm going to do things and I'll say black people did it. Because everyone will believe me, lock them up. About time they figure out that nigga didn't do it, I'll be gone. I'll be long gone. And they'll want to hang somebody, so they'll fucking pin it on him anyway. You know, like they did Jesus? The nigga said, I'm the son of God. And then the story goes, they pinned him up because he said he was God. Because that's blasphemy. But then now we live in a future where everyone says he is God. But that's what got his ass killed. Because they follow the Old Testament and they know that the Lord is up there and no man is God. You know? So, how the fuck is it you believe that that son, that man was a god? He's the one, but the thing that got him killed was they lied and said that he said he was God. When he said, no, I'm God's son. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know? He said, God's within me. God dwells with me. Emmanuel. God with us. Get it? So, can you say your belief system it doesn't even make any sense at all? They did this to him because in the book they say that's blasphemy and no man should ever do it. And now we're in the future and people believe that that's what he died for, to say, yes, I am the God, but I can't save myself. I don't know when I'm going to die, and I'm going to ask myself, why did you do this to me? You took all your powers away from yourself so you could be destroyed and your message get completely overrun. That's what I sent myself down here for, to lose.
This is what you believe. The Lord came down to lose, to teach people to win. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's how I be winning. By losing a lot and gaining evidence, because losing means people keep doing things to you, and you know, when you can prove they're doing it because they keep doing it over and over and they get addicted to it, and you know, you just slowly let them bury themselves. You know? That's what Avatar did. See, the Great Spirit taught him a new technique that's always been there, just regular people don't know it, or they're not strong enough to do it. I don't know. All I do know is he was the only one to do it. Or the new first one out of thousands of years. So the Great Spirit teaches Aang chi bending technique, or power bending, meaning I'm gonna bend you, your power. I'm going to tap into your soul, and I'm gonna cut your power off. That's what he taught him. How to close his chakras or some shit. And then made the guy a regular man. And since the average hobo on the street can bend fire or throw rocks or bend air, you're just a man now. You were the king of the world, the ruler, most feared. As soon as he got his powers taken away, a regular little kid can take you out now. Your reign is over. You're done. And then you got a crazy daughter that wants to take your spot anyway. You got a son that betrayed you and joined the good team. You know? He was a Sith Lord, and then he meant the one, lost to the one, and then joined the one and said, you got the way. How do we stop my father? We gotta stop my father. You know? He's leading my people down into destruction. And when he's gone, I'll take his place. And I'll lead my people back to the way. Isn't it funny? That's how, like, you know, things are happening now. I wonder why I said and predicted a lot of you bad guys that are on top that can't get touched, your family members are going to touch you. You're done. You can't run from the Lord. He's sitting right next to you. Inside your wife. That's actually a good person. But you lie to her. She doesn't know your things. And the moment she finds out, she's gonna fucking blast you all over the place. You know, like Bill Gates. You know, nobody knew what happened to him because he had a loyal one. Or, you know, he said, if you tell, I won't pay those fucking bills no more. You want to keep on doing what you get it? And when he got thrown under the fucking bus in the Epstein's files, what did she do? She came right out and did interviews right away. Like, yeah, you know, that's why I left. Everybody's wondering why I left a billionaire. He's a cheater. And then he's dumb. He's not using protection. At least use protection. You know, you're fucking Bill Gates. Your wife ain't leaving you because you get some side pussy. She left because you brought back disease. You know, like Kevin Samuels said, high value men make it clear to their wife, if I step outside and you're okay with this, I'm never bringing a baby home because I'm going to use a condom. I'm never getting diseases because I'm going to use a condom. I'm not going to run around with every single woman. No, when you're not around and I'm on my important business meeting and I have my little man glitch and I want, you know, because she's looking hot right there. You're not her. Let's stop playing around, you know? And the women that do understand, they keep it quiet because that's their business. Anyway, are you people happy now that you just got your power taken away? Especially you down there. I told you what I was going to do to you. But because of the Vegeta, the psychological warfare tactics, you couldn't tell which one was real. He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna Vegeta up. He's a gangster. He's gonna try to prove himself. He's David and Leonidas, and we're gonna make him play the Captain Thuggo game. And then, the cops will just let us go crazy because nobody gives a fuck what gangster ass people do. You just be another dead nigga trying to prove himself that he's tough. No, I'll just be another grown ass man that says the law says I can do things to you, so don't fucking touch me. That's it. All that going back and forth shit, no, I'm gonna just show that's you going back and forth and me sitting here saying you lost already. You lost. Your power is neutralized the moment all your friends is outside and you said that tough shit. And I'll get my boy to beat you up. And I said, you won't get your ass whooped though. You won't sit here and fight one-on-one, and that's it. Soon as you didn't do it, you were neutralized. Your power was neutralized right there. You were done. There was no redeeming yourself from that. The only way to redeem yourself was to go one-on-one, like a grown-ass man or a gangster. And then you came with the bullshits. And you didn't realize that's you neutralizing your powers. You were proving to everybody you were scared. That's why I said no more arguing with niggas. No more walking by and you look at me, I look at you, and then all that. Nah, I'm not doing none of that because you showing everybody what it is. You're showing these people that you don't want to do that. You just want to be cool. And then I neutralized your powers again by being myself, dressing up, going to, and then more and more people, you every time niggas, you look fly, I like that. Oh, why you talking to that nigga? Man, that nigga weak ass shoes. He got fake Jordans on now. Blah, 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 blah. I said, oh, you're worse than a female, nigga. You're gossiping now. Now you're sitting there like a girl. Girls do that. So I said, your manhood been defeated. I neutralized your manhood. Now you're not trying to fucking beat me at being a man. You're doing what women do. Now it's a contest of ego. And then what did I do? I started dressing down. I was like, I ain't gonna dress up no more. I don't need to. I gotta show the other side of humility and for my wolves that are, in the beginning level. So they don't always have to see the wolf guard dressed up and like, oh man, no, you can see me look like a regular ass nigga like them. The look that counts more because you're gonna look like that more than you dressed up. Unless you're going somewhere. I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, for my wolves and my ninjas, my nerds, my fellow nerds. My fellow, you're half and half, Always use your mind. Understand power is not physical. Strength is. Get it? Strength is physical. Power is a lot of different things. And usually the greatest powers are not tangible, meaning you can't touch it. Like the power of love, loyalty. Those are powerful things, and if you possess them, people do more. They do more than they normally could, because they have the power of love and loyalty, dedication, So, don't always rely on the physical for your power. Rely on your brain. Like knowledge and wisdom, you can't touch that. You can't touch it. You only can grasp it with your mind. Once it's in your head, it's contained. You know, like a closed hand. You can't put knowledge in your hand, though. You can put it in your brain. And now you're a walking weapon that doesn't have to physically do anything to anybody to remove them. You know? This is what I tried to teach my adversaries, little by little, trying to help them, but nobody wants to take the lessons. Everybody thinks it's a competition or some game to play, when no, it's not a game. I meant you to refine and do the lessons that, you know, then I get to teach because I have the right, because I went through it. You know? Who would you really want to learn motivation off of? Somebody that motivated themselves because they had a good life, they have friends and shit, or somebody that actually is like, no, I just, you know, I need to do this because I don't have that. There is no backup. I gotta do this to myself because nobody's coming. All love, all praise to the Most High.